So, I want to talk to you about ascension today. And why in the heck are humans? Why the heck are humans going through this thing called ascension? Why now? What is going on in the consciousness of humanity and where's humanity heading? So, before I jump all the way into that exciting topic, I have other exciting news that I am going to be offering live online channeling here right on YouTube every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. And I am feeling called by my spirit team to start doing this to help the collective consciousness to shift and rise and to awaken and to continue to allow us all to become more in tune with our true, most authentic, highest self. So, getting to know ourselves in a way that allows us to begin to manifest a new reality in our awareness and where the earth is shifting to. So, if that is something you're interested in, mark your calendar and I will be streaming live here on YouTube, and those who are in my membership are going to be able to come join my membership. It's only $40 a month, and you can get on the Zoom with me during that time and ask questions directly to the wisdom keepers. So if you want to just watch for a while on YouTube just to see, hey, I wonder what this is, you're totally welcome to. I just want everybody to have access to these at this point, just because there's a lot of good information that comes through these channelings. And so far, for the last several years, I've only been providing it privately to my membership. And so Spirit is saying, open this up for more people to hear. And it is a big step for me to move towards this direction, but I hope that you will join me with that. So my very first premiere live channel will be, let me look at my calendar because I don't know the exact date, February 4th at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. So put a note down that you are going to be on YouTube to watch then. Now, I'm not sure how long the channels will last. At this point, they usually come through about 30, 40, or an hour, 30, 40 minutes or an hour. And it might be about a 30-minute to a 40-minute channeling. So it won't be too terribly long, but if you do have questions, make sure you come over to the link in my description below and join the membership so you can get on to the private Zoom link and ask those questions. That being said, let's talk about ascension. So I received a really cool download last night, and this is not something new my spirit team has told me. I've actually written about this. They channeled this through me in my book, Parables for a New Earth. If you haven't got that book yet, the link is below. Highly recommend it. It has light codes in it. It is a high frequency book, and this book has so much information in it. I don't even know how to describe it. It's everything from what's going on with humanity's ascension to what soulmates are to understanding how to balance relationships. Like, there's so much going on in that book, and there will be something in there for you that you can come back to. I also created a workbook to go with it. So I recommend getting the workbook so that you can digest what the wisdom keepers were sharing through that book. So outside of that, the information that they're sharing with me is about the conscious mind of humanity awakening into a resonance and frequency of remembering. Now, this is something, if you've been on the awakening path for a while, you already know this. We are all remembering we're divine beings of light. We're not just a human being. We are a soul projecting itself into a human experience. Now, this is where they got a little bit more detailed than they normally have before when they started to share with me about how that process takes place. So if you haven't heard about the story of my astral travel or my out of body experience where I met the energy of God, I I might see if I can link that to this. I don't know how to do that yet, but as I learn how to do YouTube more, I will link that. But I had an out of body experience where I saw the image of God. I saw the energy of God, and I saw how we are all divinely created out of this energy, and we are exact replicas of God. So that being said, that replica of God is created in the image of the divine being itself, then that image gets to project itself into the universe in whatever reality that is beneficial for its expansion and growth. So God is, through us, expanding his own thought and consciousness. So we are the thought of God. And then we create thoughts through our free will to create more of God. I know this is really crazy to think this way, but this is what they have shared with me. Now, to break it down a little bit more to the human comprehension, what takes place is that spirit that was created by God then projects itself into what is called a soul. The soul creates a divine blueprint for a physical or a multidimensional experience. The soul is a part of every experience that a spirit is happening. So what is interesting is in the thought of God, time does not exist. But in the human thought, time is very much evident in our daily life. We see the sunset, we see the sunrise, we see the clock, we see like a schedule that we reside in. One of the best ways to think about this is if I want to go visit my friend in Hawaii, I live in Kansas, it's going to take me a while to get there. I can't just think and show up at her house and hang out. I have to plan, I have to pick dates, I have to get a plane ticket, I have to schedule my work around it, I have to get people to watch my kitties. I have to, like, there's all these parts, moving parts into one thought and one creation to manifest it into reality. This is why being a human is so difficult at times, because it's so dense, everything takes time in our dimension. As we ascend into higher frequency, time becomes less controlling over our understanding and consciousness. Things begin to appear as if they are moving quicker, and your manifestations come to you faster. So it's not that the plane ride is going to go faster through the quantum field from, the mainland of US to the Hawaii Islands. It is that the idea of manifesting that into my reality from the beginning point to the end point is going to take quicker, is going to be more aligned, quick action. So instead of pausing and thinking about all the obstacles, all the limitations that we might have in manifesting something, we take divine action steps that are aligned with our higher self to create the manifestation. And so this is why we always have to be aware of what our soul prompts are. If I get an idea in my head and it is aligned with love and compassion for humanity, myself, and is beneficial, then that idea can lead to action steps for me to create that idea in my reality. But if it is and this can happen with negative things too. This is what we're seeing taking place all over the world right now, is negative thought patterns creating negative behaviors and hurtful, harmful behaviors. But as you ascend, the less you want to cause harm, the less you create negative vibration thoughts, and therefore you create more in a loving way that benefits everything around you. So even by you doing something you enjoy, the energy around you starts to be created in that atmosphere as well, which allows the frequency to shift around you, to open up the quantum field for others to then feel into their higher self-awareness. So the way this is taking place on on a scale of the globe is that little lights of humans are waking up into higher consciousness, and then that is adding to the quantum field, and the darkness is being revealed, which is then shifting time for humans to awaken more into their higher consciousness. Okay, I know this is really difficult to comprehend, but let me break this down even more. So what they showed me was that the soul created a blueprint. Your soul, everybody's soul created a blueprint, a story. Let's say a book was written about you before you came to Earth. And this is Angie's going to go to Earth. She's going to be born in this family, at this place, at this time, with these parents, with this brother. She's going to have this stepmom. She's going to have this stepdad. She's going to have this stepdad. She's going to have. So all these things are set into place before we come to Earth, these like little points in our design. Now, when we get here and we project our soul into a physical experience, that physical body then starts to merge with the density of the third dimension, to the very dense frequency. And the high frequency has to merge with that to survive. This is why divine beings of light can't just come into the earthly realm, such as extraterrestrials or divine beings, because they can live in the quantum field, but they can't merge into the physical because it's too difficult. It's very difficult for a spirit to become physical. So things such as UFOs are created for those multidimensional beings to come into this atmosphere, because if they didn't have a barrier to protect them, then this density is just too heavy and dark for their being, for the manifestation of how they portray themselves in, we'll just say, their physical way of being. So their bodies are much lighter. They're more like a light instead of a physical being. So that blueprint that was created before you came to Earth has all these different storylines within it. So each chapter has a different theme. Those themes are set in place, but when we get here, the goal of it is, and this is not necessarily exactly how it is, but this is the only way we can portray as a human. The goal is to beat the game. So we are born, we go into density. At the beginning of our life, we're fully connected to our divine self. We know who we are. We know where we came from. Then what happens if we start absorbing the world around us? We start having parents neglect us. We start having parents mad us. We have parents that love us or don't love us. We have society telling us how to act and be. We start to, basically, everybody around us is like, oh, welcome to Earth. This is how you be a human. You fear this, you think this, you act like this, you do this with your life, like all these things. This is the way of human life. And if you think about this in the density of time, over time, this has created a loop within the conscious mind of a human, where you come to Earth and you get stuck in this loop. And then what happens is you might be in a same pattern throughout a human experience, and then go back to your non-physical experience. So you die, you go back to spirit, you look back at that physical experience, you think, oh, I didn't have to stay in that loop. I didn't have to believe that. I didn't have to subscribe to the understanding or the belief that I did not have worth, or I was not capable of something. And so it thinks, okay, so I set out these chapters in my book of what I want to accomplish. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to work on that chapter. So the chapters are not about winning or losing. They're about evolving. They're about expansion in the conscious mind of God. This is, if this is a little lot for you, just bear with me and kind of ground and ask your spirit team, can you help me understand this? So the end result in the physical realm is not to achieve outward appearance. It is not to achieve outward wealth. It is not to achieve Status, it is not to achieve materialistic, human, fleshly things. The end result is to come back to yourself, to be love. And then when you come back to love, when you come back to the knowing of, I am a divine being, I am worthy, I have everything within me, I am a direct replica of God itself, and I am the creator of my reality, that's when all the other things start to change around you. Your thoughts, your energy, your belief system, the things that you loop in your mind are what you see created in your reality. But you don't have to be stuck in a loop. You can see the loop, and this is a pattern that comes up over and over. I can't ever get past this. This is always happening to me. This, I'm already, I don't have enough. Whatever that story loop is that you've created for yourself. Now is the time to look at the loop and think, I don't have to believe that anymore. And so I'm going to shift this loop into a higher conscious mind. And what happens is you build another loop. And I know that sounds kind of like ridiculous, but if my loop is poverty, 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 I can't get out of poverty. And then you suddenly wake up, wait, that's a belief that I have brought into my awareness. I've created a belief. I created the energy. I'm projecting that. Now I'm stuck in this loop of I never have enough. How do I change that? Well, I start to identify with where I want to be. I start to shift my awareness from the loop. And the problem with this sometimes is that the loops feel so strong that getting out of it feels almost like impossible. And so that's why we can't just jump from the loop to, oh, I have everything I need, or I'm rich, or I have the house I want, or I have this. Because you have to start to softly work with your energetic field, like gently and lovingly become aware of yourself and the identity you've created, and then teach yourself how to create the new identity. And each time you awaken, and you guys, awakening isn't this sudden thing that happens. Like some of us have had those moments. I've had those moments, but awakening is every single moment. Every moment you have, oh, oh, the ability to learn something new is an awakening. When your conscious mind brings in a new awareness and you think, oh, aha, that makes sense. I didn't see that before. That is an awakening. You are constantly awakening to a higher frequency. And the goal of that is to come back to self, is to come back to your heart, is to allow the heart to be what projects who you are into your reality. And when your heart is projecting your reality, love radiates from you, and that changes the world. That changes the frequency of how all things are. So if you think about each individual changing their reality, and if I'm changing the reality that I am loved and that I am abundant in all ways and I am capable, and people get around me, and that's the frequency I'm holding, instead of merging down into the frequency in which they might be, I hold the frequency for them until they can see their loop, and then they can manifest new. But what happens in the meantime is we're in this balancing act of where we keep going back to the loop because the loop feels comfortable. It feels familiar. And I think, well, I don't like this. And so I'm going to get on the loop of I don't like this. And I think I'm going to change it because if I keep fighting against this thing I don't like, eventually I'll get it fixed. But the problem is you can't fix something on the same frequency. You have to shift your frequency into a higher thought form and then move out of the loop to create something more, to create something different, to manifest a new reality for yourself and for those around you. So we'll just use the example of what's happening in the world right now by us. And I'm not saying I'm not at all saying we should not actively be doing things. This is not it. But in the action, what is your purpose? In the action, what is your frequency? Why are you choosing to do something to fight against whatever it is that's going on in the world, which there are plenty of things to fight against? Why are you engaging with that? Is it to change other people, or is it to change yourself? Because the reality of it is we cannot change other people. You will never is it, and I'm sorry if this triggers people, but there will never be a protest that can convince Trump to stop. There just won't. Now, does that mean we stop? Absolutely not. That means that we change the idea of what the protest is doing, and that the protest is about coming back to the heart and the power of ourselves, not changing something outside of us, but changing ourselves. And as the individuals start to hold that frequency and radiate that, then the wave of consciousness begins to move. And then the powers that be don't have power over the collective consciousness the way they have. Because right now, what they're doing is they're pulling us into their same loop, and the loop is continuing to bring the same results over and over and over. And humanity cannot elevate in that loop. We have to shift our mindset, shift our consciousness into a new frequency, create a new loop. I'm abundant. I am worthy. I have access to anything I need at any moment. I am powerful within my own divine self. I am a divine being of light. These are the frequencies we start to build. Now, like I said, you can't go from that to that without feeling in between. You have to allow yourself to feel the frequencies as you move. So you might have anger, rage, frustration, all these different feelings on the way, on the path to contentment, to feeling safe, to feeling abundant. So instead of fighting in the same energy that you are fighting against, shift the consciousness, begin to loop in a new way. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated. Okay, what do you do with the frustration? Where can you shift the frustration to manifest something new? What is the next thing after frustration? Okay, so I went from rage and anger to frustration. Now I'm looking for clarity and peace. Now I'm looking at this from an observer. I'm going to look at this from a higher conscious mind. Oh, this is happening for us. We created this. Oh, I manifested that. Now I don't have to agree with it, and I can manifest something different. So over time, you start to shift your consciousness understanding, and you start to create something new for yourself. As humanity ascends and we start to do this, this is what's going to create the new earth frequency. And the misconception in new earth frequency is that tomorrow we're going to wake up and new earth is going to be here. Just like we got to where we are now, that manifestation is going to take time in this quantum field as well. But the thing with it is, as I was saying before, the time is speeding up, and therefore it is even more important to understand your conscious thinking and the mind that you have, and focus on where we're going and not where we are or where we have been. So it's not to be discouraging, in some way, saying that we won't experience 5D New Earth, but 5D New Earth is a ways away, you guys. We are the cycle breakers. We are the light that has come to the earth to awaken. If you want to call it the second coming, if you want to call it the Christ consciousness, if you want to call it the Sophia code, if you want to call it, doesn't matter what you call it. We are the consciousness of source remembering itself and creating a new reality for ourselves on earth. And as earth and humans both shift in frequency to a higher dimension, all things shift. And so the fact that there's still things happening in the third dimension the way that they're happening is proof humanity has a little bit more work to do. But the beautiful thing is that this is happening all the time, every day. More and more people are having those, oh, I see that now. I didn't see that then. And that's why all this crap is coming up to the surface. The Epstein files, Trump, the, ICE, there's so much, I don't even know how. Those are just like the main topics. There's so many other things that are happening in the background. These things are to reveal the manifestation that we've already created. Not to belittle ourselves or to shame ourselves, but to bring ourselves to awareness that we don't have to keep subscribing to that same frequency or that same loop, that we are the creators of our loop. When you understand that you're the creator of your loop, everything changes. So as people are ascending, as we are awakening, the goal is not to obtain more things on earth. The goal is to obtain awareness of self and to come back to love. And then what happens is everything in reality around you shifts and changes. It's not about becoming more wealthy or more seen or more important or whatever the world ego standards are. It's about coming back to the honest, true, most authentic version of love that you can reside in. And that is New Earth frequency. And when we get back to love and a fifth dimensional thinking, that is when New Earth will manifest fully. So our job now on Earth, as the light bearers, as the ones ushering in this new golden age, is to become as self-aware as we can and to see our loops and transform those loops into light and love. I hope this makes sense to you. I know that was a lot and a very might have been a hard subject to hear about, but I hope it gave you a little bit of clarity about how you can help too. Like some of us think, well, how do I do these? How do I fix this? Well, you're not ever going to fix it by thinking about how do I fix that? You always come back to self. How do I work on this? How do I change me? Then the world outside me changes. So, if you have any questions or you are looking for support, I do have some openings. Come join my membership and hang out with us as I channel, and we will continue to create more loops for us to manifest. I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.